There's a class for today because earlier the people that were on the other side of the world didn't have a chance to watch the recording, and they had to require they were required to watch the recording to be qualified for today's class, and they didn't just because how long it took to upload. So decided to wait. How do I get access to day 20 in the boot camp? When we get to day 20. Okay, sick. Boot camp is getting juicy indeed. I tried to copy your flag pattern on Dogecoin. We're not talking about crypto. Joseph, the team has told me that you have something pending. That's why you don't have access to the recording, Joseph. Speak to the support. The support answers every single question. And they explained to me that you have something missing, and that's why you haven't been able to get access to the recordings. All of you guys have spoken to support, and you guys know exactly where to do it. Cool. All right. So let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 13 inside of the 30-day bootcamp. Obviously, it's a joke. It's not day 13. So we're going to pick back up where we left off yesterday. So let me share my screen. Let me bring this over here. Let me open up the chat once again. Just to make sure if you guys can see my screen, please type 1. If not, type 2. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Sick. Thank you very much, guys. All right, cool. So now that we understand that, let's get started. So wherever you are, get comfortable, hang tight because this is about to be a roller coaster. Like I'm getting ready for a fight. I'm like, uh, uh, uh. All right. So we left off yesterday on market structure. Let's do this very quickly, right? So we all saw the recording. We should all be on the same page. So we're going to do some blast test really quick. Is this market bullish or is it bearish? Bullish or bearish? Okay. Music to my ears, even though I don't hear. I tried to be a rapper once, and that didn't go well. I got no bars. I can't. I don't have flow like that. I can talk shit, like speak, but I can't, sing. Everybody, fill out the poll. Fill out the poll. We're almost done. We have 8% left, 6%, 3%, and we can cut it off here. Okay, these are the results. 93% claim that this is bearish, 7% claim that it's bullish. This is currently indeed bearish. If we were to look at the market structure, this would be the lower high, and this would be the lower low. So if we work backwards, let's just start off from, let's just say this point right here and this point right here. That would be the higher high, and this would be the higher low. We know for a fact that this cannot be a higher low because one, it's going to be the one candlestick pullback. So I need to have a minimum of 2 candlesticks. So you have to have 2 candlesticks. And the second rule is if it does have 2 candlesticks and it's not super clean, you look left. But since it doesn't have 2 candlesticks, it's just one red candlestick that stopped, it does not count. You keep it going. Remember, this is the head of the snake, and the snake to go to the top here, or we could have the snake at the head here. We go back. Is this enough for the snake to change path to go? No. The snake can very easily just go through this area right through here. So that is going to be the higher high, the higher low. We broke above. This is the new higher high. Then this becomes the higher low. We broke under, lower low, do the snake backwards. This is the lower high, lower low, lower high, done. We do the same thing here. One candlestick pullback. I would not count this. It's just one candlestick. I would count this, lower high, lower low, body closed above. This is the higher high, and this is the higher low. We broke above. This becomes the higher high. If you want to consider this the higher low, you can call it one bearish, one bullish. At the end of the day, whether you want to count this as the higher low or this is the higher low or even this is the higher low, it broke all of them. What matters is that right now we are bearish. So hope that example made sense. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, cool. Next, we have, let's do, all right, this market. Are we bullish or are we bearish? Are we bullish or are we bearish? Take your time. Take your time. Are we bullish or are we bearish? And again, 100% of you guys are wrong on this one. Are we bullish or are we bearish? Everybody, fill it out. Fill it out the poll. And you know what I love about this poll? That it's taking people a long time to fill it out. Usually by this time, we would be pretty much done. So I'm glad that people are taking their time. That leads me to understand that some people remember something that I taught. So these are the results, which by the way, they're all wrong. 87% claim it's bearish, which is wrong. And 13% claim that it's bullish, which is wrong. How in the fuck can you tell that this is bullish or bearish if you look at it like this? You can't. Impossible. When you go read the market structure, you want to zoom in. You want to make sure that you have the chart in front of you and you can see the candlesticks. Now, yes, obviously, this is the lower high and this is the lower low. So indeed, this market is currently bearish. This was the lower high. This was the lower low. We body candlestick under. This becomes the lower low and this becomes the lower high. So if you guys said that this was bullish or bearish, you lied because there's no possible way that you could tell if this was bullish or bearish because all this needed to do is have a little candlestick above that and this structure would have been bullish and you would have still called it bearish just because you see the overall market downwards. That's not the question that I asked. I asked the current market structure and it's bearish. So a little trick, kind of trick you guys there. All right. Are we bullish or are we bearish? Bullish or bearish? Take your time. Okay. I'm sure if I were to have the chat open, everybody would be telling me to zoom in. So this is a trick question. This is not a real poll because you can't see anything. It's the same example as the last one. You have to zoom in to be able to understand what is the structure of this market doing. So obviously we are currently bearish. So if this was the higher low and this was the higher high, market body closed under, making this the lower low, making this the lower high right here. If you do a little snake trick right here, you start coming back, dun, 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 dun. There's not two real candlesticks there, not enough for the market to do a whole swirl. So we just make it up all the way up to this point. This is the lower high. This is the lower low. Keep it going. Then this turns into the new lower low. And then this turns into the lower high. Well, we have two candlesticks of a pullback. Is this the lower high? Is this the lower low? Shit, I can't tell. We have two candlesticks. So now we have to apply the next rule, which is find if there's an area of interest in this area. Okay, cool. So again, we look at the area on the bodies of the structure. We don't ever do it on the wicks. We look left. We have here nothing because that does not count. We look left. Okay, we have one solid structure point here. We have 2 solid structure points here, and we're already by September 4th, so we're already 2 months back. Let's see if we have, okay, like literally right next to it, which is still very fairly close, we have a third point. So we have 1, 2, and 3, including this one right now. This would be a valid lower high point. So then that means when we body close on, then we create this lower low. This becomes the lower high. Then we body close above. This becomes the higher high. It's a 1 candlestick pullback, but it is a little confusing because you do have this and you do have this. Okay, you have the line and you look left. This doesn't count. Keep it going to the left. You have nothing here. Have 1 point here, and you kind of have 2 and 3 points here. Cool. It's a valid higher low. So keep it pushing. So if it body closes above that, then this becomes the higher high, and this becomes the higher low. That is why this market is bullish. Now, I have one question. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Where is the poll? Trying to find it. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Amazing. Love to see it. And currently, this is a beautiful poll. It all makes perfect sense. 96% yes, 4% no, which to me are the trolls or people that just haven't gotten a chance to watch the recording. But if the 96% do, then that means everything you need to know is in the recording. Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, we are past one of the biggest hurdles that we probably have. No, we are past the biggest hurdle that we have in the 30-day bootcamp. So I want you guys right now, give yourselves a round of motherfucking applause. Give yourselves a tap in the back. Because hold on, ladies and gentlemen, shit is about to get crazy. Okay? This is where things start getting very, very, very interesting. So I'm going to speak into the future once again. I'm going to teach you to learn something to where then you have to unlearn it. So again, it is a little tricky, it is a little confusing, but it's going to be the correct way. And it's going to be kind of like, bro, I'm telling you, it's all going to click so fast, just how the market structure did, that you guys are going to almost be like, what the fuck? There's no way. There's no way that it was like this. You're gonna almost hate yourself for not looking at it like this in the past. And this is the exciting part where things start getting good. So let me go to Euro JPY. Where is it? Okay, cool. So we already have this screenshot. We're gonna just throw this to the side. So we already understand how market structure works and how it is the life of the markets. Now we're going to talk about how you find an area of interest and how it's going to work, right? So a big issue and a big common mistake, 99% of traders, what they do when they come to the market. Let me actually just go to a different chart, right? Let me just go to NZDJPY. So I'm just gonna go to a different server. So there's like no lines. So it's the same chart, but it's just different, whatever. So a big mistake when traders come into the market, they'll look at this and they'll be like, oh yeah, dude, this market's going down. This shit's bearish. They're right. And yeah, bro, like this is the perfect zone to sell. And this is like the perfect zone to buy right here. And yeah, bro, I'm gonna make a shit ton of money. Or they come here and they'll see a market that's going up and they'll be like, yeah, dude, bro, look at this. Let me take this. So we all understand this. They look at this chart and be like, yeah, dude. Yeah, bro. Oh, wait, hold on. It's because I fucking did the wrong. They come to this chart and be like, yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah, there's a really good zone right here to buy. And yeah, I'll sell right here. It's like, what the fuck have you just done? What do you mean? What do you mean you're gonna buy here? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a level of resistance and support. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You buy there. And there's a level of resistance because last time it was here, it went down. No, that is not how you properly spot support and resistance. That is not how you properly spot a key area of interest. You can't just pull up to a market and be like, yeah, dude, fuck yeah, we're gonna buy here, make a shit ton of money, dude. Fuck yeah. No, 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 dude. There has to be a specific way how you put the zone. There has to be a specific sizing to the zone. And there has to be a precision on what bodies and what candlesticks you put the zone to. You can't just pull up to the chart and think you just do it randomly. There's a very precise way on how to do it. And I'm going to teach you guys how to do it right now on the line chart. So I'm going to teach you how to do it on the line chart, but then you have to unlearn it. And I'm sure you guys already know this example. So again, common issue a lot of traders could make is going to be, before that, is this market bullish or is this market bearish? Just want to do a quick poll on this. Take your time, be looking at it in the meantime. Is this market bullish or is it bearish? Oh my God. You know what? Jesus. You know what? I'll take partial blame on this. Because it's I'll take partial blame. These are the results. 45% bullish, 55% bearish. And you know what? You know what? I'll take the blame for it because you can't put the lines. Fair enough. Fair enough. You can't put the lines. You're not able to tell visually if it's bullish or if it's bearish. Like you just can't tell. I get it. You know what? Fair game. Fair game. I'll take full blame for it. And something that I did want to talk about is going to be, hold on, guys. I'm sorry. My phone is literally blowing up. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. I apologize. If you guys could hear me, type 1. If not, type 2. All right, perfect. Yeah, just want to make sure. Thank you, guys. All right, so this market currently, just to show you guys for the examples purposes, this was the higher high. This was the higher low. So this is the higher high. This is the higher low. The market broke under, making this market currently bearish. This is the lower low. And if you look at the lines, again, it's very hard and it's very tricky to tell, but this market technically is still bearish because we did not body close under. So you know what? I take full blame for this. It's very hard to tell. So if I would have done it like this, it would have been a lot easier to tell because then this would obviously be the lower low. the snake trick. This would be the lower high. We break above, higher low, higher high. I'm sure we all understand. So I'll take 100% blame on that right there. My apologies. And something that I do want to add to the market structure, I want you guys to pick up on, this is a rangy market. This market is technically lateral. It is technically in consolidation. It is technically ranging, choppy, whatever word you want to put, that it's just moving sideways and not having a super clear trend to the upside or super clear trend to the downside. That's what this market is doing here. But this does not matter. This does not affect our trading. This is not a big deal. What matters is going to be how you trade this. And there's a way to trade this, and I'm going to show you right now, because what matters is the market structure. It could be ranging, it could be choppy, but the structure inside of this range is bullish right now. The trend is bullish. Even though the market is choppy, there's no such thing as a trending choppy market. Does not exist. The market either is bullish or it's bearish. Now, if it's choppy within bullish structure or choppy within bearish structure, that's cool. But the market cannot ever be neutral. It can never not be in a bullish structure or in a bearish structure. The structure always is in one or the other direction. There is never no in between. The market is never not bullish or not bearish. It's always bullish or bearish. Now, if it's choppy and it's not moving how we would want it to move, that's a whole other thing. But this does not mean that the market does not have structure ever. Does this make sense? Just gonna do another poll. If this makes sense, say yes. If not, but no, just want to make sure. By the way, I'm liking the polls a lot better. It keeps the chat. So I realized the chat was a distraction for myself and for you guys, because you guys were just talking shit and just, asking a bunch of stuff that weren't about the topic. So a new strategy that just, we're eliminating distractions from all different areas. It's just yes or no. It's very simple. Cool. So 98% understand this. Perfect. I don't have to go super deep into this. So when a market is bullish, right? So the first thing we're going to understand is, okay, for example, right now, this is Euro JPY, right? So Euro JPY, we are currently on the daily time frame. Daily time frame, we are currently bullish. Now, after we understand that we are bullish, we know that we are only going to look for buys. Where? Where do we buy? Do we buy here? Do we buy here? Do we buy here? So I want to ask you guys, where do we buy? Do we buy in point number 1? Do we buy in point number 2? Or do we buy in point number 3? Or heck, all of them, right? So we'll just do one here. That's all of them. Take your time, look at it while I create this poll. Okay. Please go ahead and fill out the poll. 1, 2, 3, or all. Okay. Should be very clear which one's which. And I love this. And I love this, that the majority of you guys are incorrect, because you're about to have a humongous aha moment. You're going to be like, oh, watch, it's literally about to happen. All right, 5% left to fill out the poll. Come on, don't be lazy. If you're driving, it's just click a button. No big deal. You can look down for a second. I'm totally kidding. I don't encourage texting and driving. I don't do that at all. Gotta, be correct out here. All right, so these are the results. 23% believe that it's area of interest 1. 38% believe it's area of interest 2. 25% believe it's area of interest number 3, and 14% believe all of them. So there's only one right answer in all of this. And I'm going to start off by saying 14% are definitely incorrect. It's not going to be all of them. The one that has the majority votes, which is number 2 for 38%, is wrong as well. And the one that came in almost in second, which is number 1 for 23%, is also incorrect. The only valid area of interest that we have in here is going to be number 3. Now, why? How? Well, it's very easy, because of market structure, because what I've been teaching you guys up to this point. So if this is the higher high, and this is the higher low, how in the fuck can you buy at zone number 1 when if price gets there, we're now bearish? How does it make any sense to buy in a bearish market? It doesn't. You can't buy on a bearish market. You only buy on a bullish market. How can you buy in a zone that when you get there, there's a very high probability they're probably going to be bearish because you now break under the higher low? You cannot buy in a bearish market. You only buy in a bullish market. So area of interest 1 completely goes out of the picture, because if the market gets to that point, we'll then be bearish. We cannot buy if we're bearish. We only sell if we're bearish. So that's pretty damn near common sense. Area of interest 2, maybe a little bit more here. If we get to, to area of interest 2, we're bearish. You can't buy if we're bearish. You can only sell. If the market's bullish, you buy. If the market's bearish, you sell. So you can't buy at an area of interest number 2. And you definitely can't do all of them, because 2 of them don't qualify. You could only buy in a valid area of interest, which is going to be inside of the higher high and the higher low. Meaning that when we have this pullback into here, this market is going to potentially create this higher low at this very point to then have the push to the upside. You could only look for an area of interest to be interested in a buy within the higher high and the higher low, because the moment we break out under, we are now bearish, or the moment we break above, we now have a new higher high. So we could only look for buys inside of this higher high and this higher low. We have to predict when is this going to stop in here, and then have the new push to the upside. All we're trying to do as traders is predict this stop. How far is this stop going to go? Is it going to go from here to here, or from here to here, or from here to here? And I have a way on how to tell 65% of the time when it's going to stop to have that push. It can either go from here to here, or it can go from here to then here, or it can go from here to then here. But if you notice, all of these moves are inside of this higher high and higher low. So when you go look for an area of interest, you only look for it inside of the higher high and higher low. So you start off from the higher high and you start off from the higher low. So when you go to the market, for you to look for an area to buy, you no longer have to look at down here or look at up here, or even look at right here and get confused to potentially find an area here. You know that you only have to look for an area to buy right inside of this box, which is the box of the higher high and the higher low. To make this very simple, we just go to a line chart right now, into the line chart right now, and I'll do a bullish example, for example. Let's say we are right here. It's very clear that this is the higher high and that this is the higher low. This is obviously not a higher low. Doesn't even look like it. This is the head of the snake. When you do this body of the snake, it just goes right through that. So it's very clear that this is the higher high. What we have to do is predict, where do we buy? So you can't buy here, because if you put an area of interest here, by the time the market pulls up here, we're now bearish. You'll find an area of interest only inside of this higher high and inside of this higher low. You only wait for a pullback inside of the zone to stop somewhere to then go to the upside. So if you were to see this obviously happen very quickly, you can see how it has a pullback inside of the zone, and then it ends up having the push. If everything up to this point makes sense, say yes, or if it doesn't, say no. Shit. Does it make sense? Yes or no? I love to see it. I love to see it. Perfect. Great. This is fantastic. I love to see this. So we're just going to now do very simple examples, 2% more, just so we can do it. All right, cool. All right, these are the results. 95% understand and 5%. This is like the same people, right? They're just, it's very weird. But okay, we'll show multiple other examples, of course. I know you want to ask me that without me even having the chat open. Don't worry, I'm gonna do it. So this is the only area we're gonna look for buy, right? So let's just do this. Let's say this market does this and then it does this. Now, is this market bullish or is it bearish? Please take your time. Take your time. Take your time, Tony Montana. Take your time. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Oh, still need some people to have to go watch the recording. But take your time. Take your time. I'm not in no rush. 12% left. 4% left. Okay. These are the results. 77% claim that it's bullish. 23% claim that it's bearish. So if we just follow these lines, this becomes the lower low. We did a little snake trick, head of the snake, go back up. This is a clear shift in the structure. So then this becomes the lower high. And if this becomes the lower high, this becomes then the lower low, snake trick. This becomes the lower high. And we have clearly body candlestick closed above, making this the new higher high. So if this is the higher high, this is the higher low, we are now currently bullish on Euro JPY. Now, where do we buy in this market? Do we look to buy in area of interest number 1? Do we look to buy in area of interest number 2, area of interest number 3, or area of interest number 4? So just to make it very clear, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Take your time to look at it. Please fill out the poll. So use all of them as the number 4, if you believe it's number 4. Okay. Lovely. 8% missing. It's funny because the polls literally get fully maxed out in like 45 seconds. But I can see like the poll has a timer. I have a timer here on how the like Zoom does it automatically, which is pretty cool. Okay. Okay. So these are the results. 2% claim that it's zone number 1, 18% claim that it's zone number 2, 78% claim that it's zone number 3. Did I delete it? I probably did. And 2% claim that it's zone number 4. Now, there's obviously only one right answer, and that is obviously number 3. It can most definitely not be area of interest number 2. One, because that's not where you want to buy. You don't want to buy at a resistance. Price can definitely keep going to this area, and this higher high can continue to push up, but you can't buy here because this is a level of resistance. You can't buy at a resistance, you buy at a support, which again, I'm going to get into that in just a second. But I want to explain to you how to find the area first. And definitely number 2, you cannot buy there because it's going to be used as resistance as well. So the only area that makes sense to buy is going to be zone number 3, where price has a pullback, and then we can use it as support to then head up. And obviously it can't be number 4 because by the time we get down here, we're no longer going to be bullish. We're then going to be bearish. So this is a very clear example on how to spot an area of interest inside of, or no, this is a very clear example on where to look in the market to find an area of interest. So as of right now, we haven't spotted an area of interest. Like I haven't taught you guys how to really do it yet. I've just taught you guys how to be able to know where to look at to then find the area of interest. So it's like right now that you want to go race a car. Well, all I've shown you right now is how to find the right street to go race the car. That does not mean you're not, that doesn't mean you're ready to go race the car. You just now know where you can race the car without getting a ticket from a police officer because you're speeding. So now you know where to look for. Now, how do you actually do it? Well, that's what I'm going to do in 2-3 more examples. Just want to make sure we all get this. This is probably one of the easiest points. So this is the higher low. This is the higher high. If the market is up here at this level, we're going to only look for areas to buy within this zone. Easy, right? Very easy. So let me do this. Is this market bullish or is it bearish? Please take your time. Now, it really piques my curiosity on some people right now. It really does. I just want to understand what they don't understand. That's just really it. I want to know what the fuck I'm doing wrong. So we had this as the higher high. We had this as the higher low. I feel like a teacher that helps you cheat in a test right now. It's like when you go cheat in the test, it's definitely, you know, you don't want to make it I don't know. I don't even know where I was going. So when the teacher like indicates to you like which answer it is, like making it very easy. All right, these are the results. 12% claim it's bullish. 88% claim that it's bearish. So the correct answer is obviously bearish. I want to understand why the 12% thought that it was bullish. To me, it's very clear that this market has broken above, making it the higher high. If you do the head of the snake here, and you do the snake trick, that is very clear to me to be a higher low. Now, if that's the higher low, we close under. This is bearish. This is the new lower low. So I'm going to open up the chat just to those 12%. And what don't you understand from that? Or what did you get wrong? I fat fingered. Okay. I clicked the wrong button. Okay. I couldn't draw the lines. Okay. Moving too quick. Okay. I didn't have the lines. I'm on my phone. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Basically what I thought. They understand after they see it, but it's not something that they don't get. It's just either they fat fingered it or on the phone it's too small. They can't put the lines. Fair enough. Now, since we're clearly bearish, where is a good area to buy? Because clearly we are bearish. Where are we going to buy? Are we going to buy from this level of support? Or are we going to buy from this level of support? Or are we going to buy from this level of support? Where are we going to buy from? Please let me know in the chat. Where do we buy from? Where are we buying from? Actually, I can't read the chat. It actually goes very fast. Let me just do this really fast. Are we buying from zone 1? Are we buying from zone 2? Or are we buying from zone 3? Where are we going to buy from? Please fill out the poll. Where do we buy from? Come on. We have 13% missing. It's always like the first people that get it quick and then the others. Take the time. It's okay. Take your time. That was not a fart. That was myself. Okay. These are the results. 68%, which by the way, they're all wrong because I kept saying, where are we going to buy from? And we're not going to buy from any of these. We're going to sell from some of these. You cannot buy on a bearish market. You can't buy when the market is selling. You sell the market when the market is selling, right? Just want to put that out there. But to the 68% that put zone number 2, you are correct. Remember, if we go to zone number 1, you can't sell in support. You buy in support. And you cannot sell in a bullish market, because if we come to this area, then this market is now going to be bullish. This is now going to be a higher high, and this will then be a higher low. So it can't be at this area because we are going to then be bullish. When we are in a bearish market, we can only look for sells inside of the lower high or inside of the lower low. Anything outside from this is simply going to be invalid. You could only look for areas to sell in here. You want this pullback to come anywhere in here without breaking through to then sell. Even if it gets as close like this to the lower high, as long as it doesn't break, that is a valid potential area of interest to then sell. Even if it's something as small as this, we could find a valid area of interest in here to then sell, because again, this is the area where we're going to look for the area of interest to sell. We're trying to predict this pullback. Where is it going to stop? Is it going to stop here and then sell? Is it going to stop here and then sell? Stop here and then sell? Or stop here and then sell? Where inside of here is it going to stop? That is our job as a trader to correctly find and figure out. Now, if you do not have any areas of interest in here, there's no trade. But again, later with that inside of the boot camp. For now, I just want to go with one or two more examples, right? So now this market broke above. Now this market is bullish, right? Very obvious. We don't have to do a poll for that. If we do, then we have a big issue. If this market is bullish, what areas are we going to look to buy? This area or this area or this area? Area number 1, area number 2, or area number 3? Please fill out the poll. Okay. So I'm very glad that with time and repeating the same thing over and over again, I can tell that a lot of you guys are understanding a lot faster. And that's really how this bootcamp is going to work. I'm going to explain it the first time the same way I'm going to explain it on the 150th time. Nothing's going to change. The only thing that's going to change is that you heard it more times and now you officially get it. Like if I talk to you right now in Chinese and I say jing 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 chang chang, you'll be like, what the fuck did this guy just say? But if I tell you ching 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 chang 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 ching 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 chang chang ching ching 100 times, you're like ching 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 chang chang means let's get this fucking money. Now, if you only hear me say it one time, you don't even know how to say it again. When you hear me say it again and again and again and again, then you guys are going to understand it. So the me saying it again and again and again and again and again and again and again is what the recording's for, not these lives. You want to consume this time with me as efficiently as possible. So these are the results. We have 96% in zone 1, and then the others are trolls. So obviously we understand this is an area where it can potentially go up. And we understand that it cannot be this one because then we'll be bearish, and it cannot be this one because it'll be bearish. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Shit, we're getting really close. All right. Which one of these are we interested in selling on this market? Do we sell in zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, or none of them? Take your time. Zone 1, 2, 3, or none of them? Where do we sell? Okay. Take your time. 6% left. Okay, perfect. So we have a 79% for none of them, 2% for 3, 10% for 2, and 9% for 1. Quite interesting on why. So let's start by the level of elimination. Zone number 1 can clearly not be it, because if the market does have a pullback to this area, what happens? We're bullish. We cannot sell in a bullish market, making choice number 1 completely invalid and not qualified. Should be very easy to understand that. We can't sell at number 2 because that's going to be support. You don't buy at support, or you don't sell at support, you buy it. And you don't look, you can't sell into the, like you, when you talk about support and resistance, I'll explain it now. But 2 and 3 are the same thing. There's no point in here. Inside of this example, I did not put an area of interest. Zero. There's none because the area of interest could only be ever inside of the lower low and the lower high. So if you notice, I'm saying the same thing I already said, but I did it without you looking at it. I said I've been telling you we could only have an area of interest inside of the lower high and the lower low with an area of interest inside of it. Now I take out the area of interest inside of it, and somehow some people still pick other ones that are not inside of it. So you can only take a trade that is inside of the lower high and the lower low. So make sure you write that down. Area of interest has to be inside of the lower high and the lower low. So this would be a valid area of interest. This right here would not. This right here, even if it's that close, it would not. Now, I have a very interesting question. Does all of this make sense? Yes or no? Beautiful. 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 So 98% say yes, 2% say no. It leads to me that everything you need to know is in here because your fellow colleagues now understand. So before I continue to go on with round psychological and support and resistance, I want you guys to realize that just 15 minutes ago, you didn't know how to correctly find an area of interest in the market. Right now, you see this market and you know that having this as the lower low and this is the lower high, this can be an area of interest or this can be an area of interest. Now, you know, when you pull up to a market, let's say you have a naked market like this, and you already know that this is the lower high and the lower low, you know that you're only looking at in here. This is your zone. That's all you're looking at when it comes to the market. You're not getting distracted by what the fuck is going on down here. You don't care about what's going on up here. For you to be interested in selling, you only care about this in here. So what I've done now is I've gotten all this noise and I have minimized it to a specific zone because you can see all of this and you can be so confused and very lost, and it can be very difficult for you to know where to start. But I can almost guarantee you that if I were to show you a chart like this, for example, you would know where to start. So just a quick example, right? Let's say, for example, you're looking at this market here, right? Let's say that this market is like this. You're probably 30 minutes ago, you would have been asking yourself, shit, 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 shit. What do we buy? Fuck. What do we, is it, all right, here we have an area of interest. Okay, resistance, resistance. Okay, you know what, you know what, you know what? Under here, it actually looks really good too. And you know what? This area down here is actually really strong. Look at the big reaction we had down here. So yeah, 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 yeah. We want this market to come here. And once we're here, then we buy. And then once we're here, we buy as well. And then you know what? We're gonna also sell this down because it's gonna pull back. Fuck no. That is not how you do it. First of all, you can't sell a market that's bullish. You can only buy it. So this mistake is already eliminated out of the equation. And these areas of interest down here, you damn know well that they are not valid because this is the higher high and this is the higher low. So you're only going to look for an area of interest inside of this right here. This down here is not a valid area of interest, not a valid area of interest, not a valid area of interest. You could only look for an area of interest and an area to buy inside of this zone. So you're locked in to find a pullback and predict when this market is going to stop inside of here to then head to the upside. And as a perfect example like this, there go plenty of opportunities for you to take this trade to the upside. This trade becomes the higher high right here. and again, we're going to come back to more examples on the candlesticks in just a second. This becomes a higher high here. This becomes the higher low here. Where am I going to look to buy? Am I going to look to buy down here? Am I going to look to buy over here? No. This is the higher high. This is the higher low. You only look for an area of interest inside of this higher high and this higher low. And boom, you would have had a very easy buy opportunity here, which by the way, we had, but I missed on it earlier this week. So we look at on the 4 hour, same thing. This would be the higher high. This would be the higher low when we were bullish. Boom. That's the higher high. That's the higher low. You could only look for an area to buy inside of the zone. You just get the box at the top, the box at the bottom, and you put the box left. How far left do you go? How many this, how many that? That's later. Don't you worry about it. If this basic standard makes sense. So this is where you'll get your pullback inside of here. Get it, entry signal, and then you make money. So now this market is going to be bearish. So this right now is going to be the lower low. And this over here will be the lower high. Because this was the higher low, we shifted. So if this is the lower high and this is the lower low, we could only look for an area to sell inside of this box. So what we're going to expect for prices to have a pullback somewhere inside of here to then sell. You always have to wait for the pullback, and I'm going to explain all of that in just a second. If all this concept makes very much sense over the top, say yes or no. It's crazy, right? How easy it is for you to see it now, right? And trust me, it's only going to get easier. And why is it only going to get easier? Because of the market structure. Everything we've been doing up to this very point is because of market structure. We find the area of interest because of market structure. We find the lower high and lower low because of market structure, not because of anything else. That's why I took very long with the market structure class, and I expressed to you guys how important and how key it is for you guys to watch the recordings, because everything we do from this moment forward is everything based off of market structure. Cool. Now that we understand that. By the way, these are the results. So 98% understand and 2% don't. 2%, just watch the recording. Thank you guys for understanding. Sick. Amazing. Yeah, I'm liking this rhythm too, because like there's no distraction. I don't get distracted by the questions that are about the future, and you guys could like control yourselves, just only focus on learning what I'm teaching and practicing it, and not have to constantly want to evolve to the next thing. Cool. So now that we understand how to find a key area of interest, I want to explain to you where these key area of interest are then going to be spotted. So these key areas of interest are going to be spotted with key levels of resistance and key levels of support. So a level of resistance could turn into a level of support. A level of support could turn into a level of resistance. And I'm sure we've already gone through this example, and you guys have a very clear understanding of this in this very moment. So I want to explain to you the support and resistance concept, right? It's very simple. It's very straightforward. Okay. So in this market right here, we have multiple levels of support and we have multiple levels of resistance. And we have one area where it's support and resistance. So to start off, a valid level of support and resistance needs how many touches? Let me know in the chat. Just want to make sure we all know. How many touches does a valid level of support and resistance need? Slash key area of interest, slash order block, slash money line, or whatever. Okay, cool. So a minimum of 3. A minimum of 3 touches is needed in a level of support and resistance. Is this a level of support and resistance? Well, let me start counting. 1, no, not a valid level of support and resistance. Now, listen to what I'm saying. It's not a valid level of support and resistance. It's not a valid level of support or resistance. Now, this is a level of resistance because clearly the market got to this area and it rejected it. Now, it's not a valid level of support and resistance because it doesn't have 3 touches. Now, the best example or analogy that I can use for this is going to be a surfing example. We want to surf a wave that has minimum 3 feet. Why? Because it's where the odds of you falling into the water and getting eaten by a shark are not that high. When you have a wave that is less than 3 feet, you look like this rookie guy right here, and you have a lot of odds of falling into the water and getting eaten by a shark. You're more risk to exposure because you don't have the super fast momentum to get you away from the shark. If you have a very little wave, you have no momentum. The shark is going to literally pull up on you and eat you. But if you have a big wave, the shark's not going to chase you through this whole thing. It's not fucking Superman. If you have a small wave, it's very likely for him to pull up on you. Same thing here. Because it's a small wave, it doesn't mean that it's not a wave. For sure, this is a wave, 100%. There's no other word to what this is. It's a fucking wave. It's just not a valid wave that I'm down to surf. This is a level of resistance. There's no other fucking word to put to this. It's resistance. It's just not a valid level of resistance because we need a minimum of 3 touches. Do you guys understand that? Yes or no? There's levels of resistance and support everywhere in the market, everywhere. But there's only key areas with a valid level of support and a valid level of resistance. The only difference is, does it have 3 touches or not? That's the only difference. Amazing. Yo, you want to know what's crazy? We are literally, like, I think this is our highest pull right now. Look at this. 99%. Like, that's, thank you, trolls. Thanks, guys. Like, this makes me feel good. This makes me want to go for another hour, you know? So thank you very much. So this is not a valid level of resistance here. Well, what the hell do we have going on here? 1, 2, and 3. Cool. That's 3 feet. That's enough to get away from a shark. That's enough to not be at risk. That's 3 feet, the 3-foot wave. So this is a valid area of interest or valid level of resistance. I apologize. Let me put here. This is just resistance. So this is a valid area of interest, and this is just a level of resistance. Cool. Let's keep it going. This area here, is this a valid area of interest or a valid level of resistance or valid level of support? Yes or no? Okay. My brain's hurting right now. just because I want to understand a percentage of this total. Maybe because the question wasn't correct. These are the results. So is this a valid resistance? The answer is no. This is not a valid resistance because we only have one tap. This is just a level of resistance. There's a big difference. Here, you're prone to getting eaten by a shark. Here, you're not. We'll keep it going. This. Is this a valid level of support slash resistance? But I don't know if I share the results. These are the results, by the way. So this is the last poll's results. So 68% said no, 32% said yes. Now, what about this one? Is this a valid level of support and resistance? Yes or no? Okay. So to the people that answered this incorrectly, I want to understand why. So I'm going to open up the chat just for you guys so I can understand why. Because there's 13% that don't count this as a valid level of support and resistance, and there's 87% that do. So clearly the majority have understood what I have taught so far. Now there's a minority that doesn't, because clearly this has one level right here. This has one level right here. This has one level right here, and this has one level right here. Support, resistance, resistance, and support, making this a valid resistance slash support, support slash resistance, potato, potato, right? Now, to the 13%, what did you not understand from this right here? Click the wrong button. Wrong button. I didn't see the support. Okay. You move the box after I push the button. The box doesn't really change, but okay. I didn't see the resistance. Okay. I only looked at the resistance. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So what I want to do with these examples is I want you guys to, like, I can obviously, if I do these circles, you have to literally be blind to not be able to know if it's a valid level of support and resistance. What I want to do is I want to get your eyes used to finding these structure points, making it obvious that there is a valid level of support and resistance. Because if you have a tunnel vision, if you're literally looking at it like this and you only look at the beginning part of price, yeah, of course you're not going to see the other ones. Or if you only look at the middle of price, of course you're not going to see the other ones. So obviously, if I were to circle them like this and ask you, is this a valid level of support and resistance? And you answer it incorrectly, it's because you're actually blind. You don't have sight. You are literally not seeing the computer because it's very obvious that it's very clearly a level of support and resistance. I do this so you can go strategically and you go look at it yourself. So let's continue with the examples. Now here, is this a valid level of support or resistance? Is this a valid level of support and resistance? Please fill out the poll. Amazing. It's crazy because I think there's some confusion here, and I just really want to know what it is. And there's no way so many people are fat fingering this shit. You got some fucking fat ass fingers. I got some fat fingers, and I don't think I'll make the mistake that much. So this is the results. 87% say no, it's not a valid level of support and resistance, and 13% say yes. So this is not a valid level of support and resistance. A valid level of support and resistance has to have a minimum of 3 touches. This is just a level of support because we have 1 tap, and if we keep going, we have nothing else. So this is just a level of support. A valid level of support and resistance has a minimum of 3 touches. I think I have to type it up. So this is the difference in between a valid level of support and resistance and a regular support and resistance. Every single time you see a piece of structure in the market, it's support, no matter what. So whenever you see the price right now, this is a level of support. This is a level of, that's a level of resistance. That is a level of support. This is resistance. This is resistance. This is support. This is resistance right here. This is support right here. This is support. This is support. This is resistance. Whenever you see a piece of market structure, no matter what, it's going to be a resistance or support, no matter what. Literally, no matter what. Every single time you see an elbow, a triangle, a pizza, a mountaintop, whatever you want to call it, it is a level of support. This is a level of support. This is a level of resistance. This is a level of resistance. Now, the difference between making it a valid level of support and resistance or not is if it has 3 touches. For example, this zone right here. Here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That is a valid level of support and resistance. This right here, 1, 2, and 3. Valid level of support and resistance. And I can go on for hours on these examples. The point is the difference in between one or the other is how many touches does it have. If it has more than 3 or more, it's valid. If it does not have 3 or more, it is not valid. It's just a regular support and resistance. What I mean by valid is because it's something that we're interested in looking. It's valid. It has a 3-foot wave. That is a valid wave. That's the wave that we want. We're not saying it's not a wave. We're just saying it's a valid wave. If this makes sense, say yes or say no. Yo, my patience is all-time legendary. Like,
My cat's tripping out, dude.
wow. You know what? This poll right here makes me so excited because 100% of you guys claim that this makes sense. Okay, sure. Is this a valid level of support and resistance? Yes or no? Correct. This indeed is a valid level of support. So this is a valid level of support. So now that we understand the difference between a regular level of resistance and a valid level of support and resistance, why the fuck is this so important? Well, because where you're going to find key areas to buy a trade or sell a trade is going to be inside of a valid level of support and resistance. It is the only area you're going to be finding a key level. Now, before I go into that, hold that motherfucking thought, because I want to explain just one thing over the top, which I personally feel like I could have brushed over because it was part of the other classes and I'm trying to pick back up, and I haven't forgotten. I've just haven't found a way how to put it in, and I'm putting it in now. No, did you got it? Got it? Terrible joke. All right, fine. Where I gotta make myself laugh sometimes. All right, sick. So, is this market bullish or is it bearish? This poll here right now confirms something for me. All right, so it's very clear that this market is bullish. And there's that 1% of you fucking motherfuckers out there saying that it's bearish. Wait till I get a hold of you, because I can see who's saying bearish or bullish. I actually can't. I can't see the names. That'd be funny though. So a market that is bullish, I have to write it down. It's only meant to sell. Now, what do I mean by this? Alex, what do you mean? I don't get it. This is what I mean. When you have a bullish market, you could only find areas to buy. When you have a bearish market, you could only find areas to sell. Now, you at no given point, I'll write this down. At no given point can you buy at a higher high or sell at a lower low. What the fuck does that mean? I got it. Don't worry about it. Bitcoin, right? Everybody and the mother looks at Bitcoin right now and says, Jesus. Wow, I'm actually impressed. But what we all look at Bitcoin, we say, shit, it left. It left without me. I'll wait for the pullback. I can't buy at the high. It's like real estate. Nobody wants to buy at the peak. You wait for a pullback. You wait for a retracement. You wait for a whatever other word you want to put to retracement and pullback. You never buy at the high, even if it's bullish, because you're paying top dollar. It doesn't make sense to buy something at top dollar. I'm sure we've all negotiated something at some point in our lives. The plug comes up to you, you try to buy a gram of weed, he gives you a little bit of a flower, and you're like, dude, what the fuck is this? Hook me up. I buy like 3 times a week, give me more. You negotiate, right? You get more out of it than you would want. It's the same thing that we're doing here with the market. We're negotiating with it, but it just doesn't know that we're negotiating. We're waiting for the market to give us a better price, because we don't want to pay top dollar for something that can have a retracement, right? We're in the art of investing. And when you invest, you don't invest at the top dollar. That's not investing. That is position trading. That is long-term holding. You know, right now, if you want to fuck off $100 into Bitcoin, sure, in 5 years, Bitcoin is going to definitely be higher than this point right here. But we're not position traders, we're day traders. We want to enter trades at a discounted price so we can make money now, tomorrow, the week after, not the decade after. If you're a position trader, if you're a bank, if you're somebody that doesn't care and wants to have it for a long time, yeah, you can buy at the top price. You don't care, because you don't care for this retracement. at all. You don't care if it pulls back to here and then it goes back up, and you don't care about this because you care about the long term. We care about the short term, quote unquote, because we want to make money with it now and we want to get a discounted price. Entering a trade that is at a higher high is like buying something at the peak price. You never want to do that. It doesn't make any sense. You always want to wait for a discount. You always want to wait for a better deal. You always wait for a little retracement. And that's going to be the potential higher low. Now, keep in mind, listening to what I'm saying, potential higher low, because this right here is the active higher high, and this is the active higher low. We will never buy at the top dollar. It doesn't fucking make any fucking sense because we're day traders. We always look to invest and we need the best price to invest. So we always wait for the pullback at the potential higher low because this pullback is literally like this is the golden part of trading. This pullback right here. When in this pullback is it going to stop before having the push to the upside again? That is the magic that we try and figure out all the time. This is the magic right here. This pullback. When is this shit gonna stop before having the push up so I can enter at that given point? That is what we try and figure out as traders. And I say potential pullback because this pullback can never be a pullback. It can be a break, or it can just be a consolidation and it could just stay in here for a very long time. So this is a potential higher low because it can literally do this and it can do this. And then from here, do this. So this is not a higher low until it's not a higher low. What do I mean by that? Well, the only way it can be a higher low if there's a higher high. So we want to enter at the potential higher low, and we always target to have a higher high in a trade. Now, take profits and stop losses and all that shit. We'll talk about it later. Don't worry about it right now. We're just talking about where we're going to enter the market. And we're going to enter on this higher or potential higher low because we're always aspiring for there to be a new higher high. Same thing when we go to sell a market. When we have a bearish market, we understand that this is the lower low and that this is the lower high. You never want to sell something at the lowest price. Let's say right now you own this water bottle and the market is tanking. You don't want to be the last person to sell at the bottom dollar. That's retarded. You're losing the most amount of money. Let's say I paid $10 for this and they're going to come and give me $1. Fuck that. I'd rather hold on to it for a little bit, wait for prices to go back up just a little bit. And in that price pullback that we get, that's where then I'll set it to the guy, be like, yo, come back up, come back, pick it up for $3 because I know prices have gone up. And then there you sell it, and the guy you just sold it to, they get fucked, and then they have to sell it at 30 cents. Obviously, like that's not exactly what's going to happen, but so you guys visually understand what's going on. So when we wait for this pullback, this is for us to get a better price on our actual good, which is our trade. We get a discount on the buy, and on the sell, we get a better deal on the sell. You never want to sell for that big of a loss. You never want to buy for that much of a price. If this makes sense, say yes. If not, say no. My cat is in heat right now, bro. I don't know what to do, dude. Look at her. No, I don't. No, that's why the chair is for her. She likes no scratch. Wait, I said bullish or bearish. Shit, I'm sorry, guys. Wrong pool. If this makes sense, say yes or say no. Okay, perfect. Perfect. 5% left. Perfect. So 100% of you guys pretty much understand it. So by us waiting for this pullback, this is where we are officially, right? Fucking what, 10 days later, officially going to start applying this set and forget strategy. Not just yet. Definitely not just yet. We still have the rest of this week and a lot more, dude. Jesus, it's Friday. I just realized, bro. It's going to be a long session, but it's fine. Okay, so this is where we're going to officially start applying the set and forget strategy, which is understanding, is this pullback ready to have the entry for us to enter the trade? You need to understand that you do not want to enter the trade without this pullback. This pullback is necessary for you to enter the trade. You do not enter the trade at the high of the market. You always wait for your pullback. You always wait for your retracement. Now, this is exactly what the area of interest is for, because if this is the higher high and this is the higher low, you understand that we're looking for this. And if the market is actively up here at this high, we have to wait for this pullback. What we do as traders is understand, is the market at a high? Is it on its way to the pullback, or is it at the pullback? So we're going to break this down right now. This is one. One means that the market is at a high. So when you have one, means the market is at a high, a higher high, or a lower low. A market is at the highest point or at the lowest point. At neither of these moments do you want to get in of an investment or get out of an investment. Here's where you're going to pay too much, and here's where you're going to lose too much. You need to wait for a pullback, and that's where two comes in. Two is going to be on its way to the pullback or to the area of interest. For me to buy this real estate, they're asking 100,000. I need for it to come back to 80,000, and then I'll pull the trigger and I'll buy it. That is where I'm interested in making this deal. Okay, cool. So that is your area of interest for that deal. Well, this is where the $80,000 mark is on the chart, for example. I'm looking to sell this water bottle. I can't fucking lose that much on this water bottle. I need to wait for prices to come back up so I can sell. I'm not a desperate seller. I'm a strategic seller. So I got to wait for it to pull back. Cool. So if I paid $10 and market right now is at 1, I'll sell it for $3. I'll take a $7 loss. This is where that $3 mark is at. So what you're doing here is you're waiting for the pullback on both. Waiting for the pullback to sell and waiting for the pullback to then buy. At no given point do you do anything other than fucking wait. While it's on the way, when it's at 90,000, that's not where you want to enter because that's not where you're interested. When it's at 87,000, you're not fucking doing anything because it's not there yet. You only do it when it's at 80,000. When it's at 80,000 is now when it's at the area of interest. And this is where you're looking to enter the trade, looking to enter the investment, looking to sell the water bottle. You only execute the trade at the area of interest. This is the only point on when you look to execute the trade. You don't look to execute that trade at any other given point, only at the area of interest. When it's on the way, you're waiting. When it's at the higher low, you're waiting. Now, when it's at the area of interest, you don't execute the trade. You then need your entry signal to execute the trade. Because you can have the property worth 80,000 now, But when you go do the final inspection to buy, the fucking bathroom caught fire. Oh, buddy, I'm not paying you 80,000 anymore. I'm paying you 75 because it's gonna cost me 5,000 to fix the fire. Or I don't know, the floor is broken or the roof needs to be fixed. You just at the final point when it's at where you want it to be, now you start looking for reasons to confirm that it's what you want to do. Same thing when you want to sell. If price has a pullback and it's going from $1 to $3, and you see that now there's a demand for pricing to there's a demand for water bottles, why the fuck would you sell at 3? Now you could sell it at 4, or you could sell it at 5. You just continue to wait. Or when it gets there and you're gonna look to sell the water bottle, you want to make sure that the what the fuck is the example for this? You want to make sure that the guy has real cash and he buys it quick and you can sell it quick before the market continues to sell. The point is like once it gets to the area of interest, you don't want to just immediately execute the trade. That is where then you go to the next step, which is look for the entry signal. Now, what is the entry signal and what is all this shit? We're gonna get into that in just a second. Don't you worry. But if this makes sense, say yes. If not, say no. Yo, my ass hurts from sitting down. I've been sitting down in this chair for like 7 hours today. Okay, cool. Okay, perfect. So this makes sense. Very clear, very straightforward. So now that we understand this, then we're going to enter the next phase, which is going to be where is this pullback going to stop? Is this going to stop at point number 1, or is this going to stop at point number 2? This is point number 1 or point number 2. So how do you find this exact spot? It's very easy actually, because you know exactly where you're gonna go look for this spot. So if we go to, which one is it? Okay, we'll just draw it all over again. Okay, right here, there it is. So is this market? Oh, my cat is in heat, bro. I feel so bad. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna get her spayed or whatever. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys, because there's like a mission going on here. Give me a second. 1 second. We're back in business. Just have to send that. Where is this? Where is this? Where is this? All right, cool. So now we understand all that. This market, are we currently bullish or bearish? Take your time. Take your time. Bullish or bearish? Okay, once again, I'll take the blame for it because you guys probably can't draw. I don't even want to share this poll because I don't want, I mean, you know, I'm going to share it. Fuck it. Everybody vote, 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 vote. Damn, bro, I make them so tricky. You know, I can't even blame you guys. I literally can't even blame you guys. We'll leave it like this for now. Yeah, I can't even blame you guys. I make them very tricky. I can't even share the poll. Whatever, I'll fucking share. Fuck it. It's 50-50. But I get why. So let's call it bearish, right? So since this market is bearish, hold on, give me 1 second, guys. That's the lower low. This is the lower high. Lower high. And this would be the lower low. Now, where do we find the area of interest? Inside of the lower high or lower low. So this is where we will get our trusty box. And then we're going to start working from the bottom up. So the way we start looking for the key area of interest, I need you guys to be paying peak attention to this right now because this is literally probably the most fucking important part. I need you to be paying attention because this is the simplest part and it could very easily be fucked up. So if you notice, I'm using the same chart where I spotted inside of this chart valid levels of support and regular levels of support. Valid levels of support and resistance, regular levels of support and resistance. So if you make a fucking mistake, is because you're not paying attention because you marked it off correctly before. So make sure you mark it off correctly now. So the way the market works, to my knowledge, is for us to get a discount on the sell, or if no, for us to get a better price on the sell, we need to wait for a pullback. Now, how far is this pullback going to go? Well, it's going to stop at a key level, an area of interest. How do you spot that area of interest? That's what we're about to do right now. So this market is going to start pulling back, and boom, we're going to get our trusty line right here. And we are going to be stopped with it right here. Boom. So the market has pulled up here. Or we do this before the market starts to actually pull back when it's at the lower low. We spot these zones before the market even gets there, right? So in the event of the market pulling back to this area, is this going to be a valid level of support and resistance? Yes or no? Okay. These are the results. So 27% are incorrect, 20% are correct. So a valid area of interest has minimum 3 touches. So does this have 3 touches? 1 and 2. There's no 3 touches. So this is not a valid level of support and resistance. I don't know why 27% said yes. I would love to know why. Can you please let me know in the chat why? I was driving, mistake. I'm on the phone. Jesus, dude. Mistake. I can't see it. I'm just okay, perfect. Perfect. So I guess it's just a mistake. So clearly, this is not a valid level of support and resistance, meaning this is not going to be an area where we're going to put a area of support and resistance on the lower, higher, lower, low. This is not valid. So this, we keep on going. So we remove this, we keep it going, 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 keep it going. Now, is this a valid level of support and resistance? Yes or no? Okay. These are the results. This is not the time to troll, guys, because we're already at using the strategy point. 17% say yes, this is a valid level. 20% say no. This is definitely not a valid area of interest. There's no fucking structure anywhere here. Jesus. Like, there's not even one. Like, if this was here, fine. Maybe you can make a mistake again. But dude, there's not even one. This is not a valid level of support and resistance. There's no structure. So I don't understand how you're answering that wrong. You're just going to have to watch these recording multiple times. So up to this point right now, this market could have pulled up to here or to here. I am not interested in selling it because there's no key area of interest or valid level of interest. We keep going up. Is this a valid level of area of interest? Yes or no? It's getting clearer and clearer. Yeah. All with due time. Dude, we're gonna be going on a fucking almost 3 hour session soon. Okay, these are the results. There's just no way 8% of you guys are getting this incorrect. I just can't fucking believe it. Why are you doing it incorrect? If it's your fat finger, don't even say anything. Like, don't even say anything. If you have a genuine question, please ask it regarding this. Rodolfo, please watch the last recording. How do you possibly identify besides the 3 spots? Buddy, the only way you identify it is with the 3 points. I haven't taught you anything other than just using 3 fucking points. I counted 2 by mistake. I don't know how the fuck you did, but okay. Okay, cool. I guess just people using the wrong numbers. So this is not a valid level of support and resistance. It's not a valid area of interest. Keep it going. And boom, now we're met with this area. So just for examples purposes, let's do this right here, right? Is this a valid level of support or resistance? Yes or no? So it is very clear that it is. Obviously, we have 99% that say that it is a valid level of support and resistance, because clearly we have one, two, we have one right here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if we wanted to, let's just do it right now. We got 5. So this is a valid level of support and resistance. So what do we do with these valid levels of support and resistance? Well, this is where we are going to now box this in. For now, we're just going to do a line, right? And we'll come back to that later. So this is one of the potential areas. So we're going to put this daily area of interest 1, right? Because we only have one area of interest as of right now. We keep going up. Is this an area of interest right here? This 1 point? No. And just for this example's purposes, let's move this up. Let's make this the lower high. And let's lower this, right? Let's lower this to right here. So is this a valid level of interest? Yes, because there's obviously 1, 2, and 3 touches. So then this will become daily area of interest number 2. And obviously we cannot continue to go up, because then what it does is that it becomes a bullish market if we break above this structure. So what we are going to wait for now is for this market to have a pullback into this market here to then sell, or we're going to have a pullback into this market here to then sell. There is nothing that we do in between. We only sell at this market right here, or we only sell at this market right here. We don't sell 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 here. We don't. We only sell at the area of interest. We only sell at the area of interest. We only sell at the area of interest. We only buy at the area of interest. We only buy at the area of interest. We only buy at the area of interest. We don't buy outside of the area of interest. We don't buy in the middle of the area of interest. We only buy when we're at the area of interest. We don't do anything outside of it. Once we get to this area of interest, we then wait for our entry signal, and then we buy. If we don't get our entry signal, we don't buy. We wait for it to get to the next area of interest. If it makes it to the next area of interest and we get our entry signal, we buy. If we don't, we do not buy. We will not sell the price to get into the area of interest. You do not counter trend trade into this area of interest. Shit, is a problem that is backwards. You will not buy into this area of interest. You don't think that price is going to have the pullback from here into this area. And once it gets there, and once price pulls back here, then you got out of your buy, and then now you enter the sell. No, you just wait the whole entire time for price to have a pullback into this area of interest, then you sell. If you don't get nothing, or price hits your stop loss, cool. You wait for it to get to this area, and then you enter the trade here. If price hits your stop loss, cool. Then you're interested in another trade. You're gonna lose a lot, very frequently, and it's gonna hurt. But when you win, you're gonna make back more than you lose. That's just how it works. So if price is not at your area of interest, there's nothing you do. And let's say it goes to this point here, and then it just sells and it creates a new lower low. Oh, fucking well. How many times have you looked to have a good investment into something, and somebody comes and offers you not what, or you try and buy something for cheap, and they don't want to sell it for that, and they sell it for a different price, and then it gets sold and you miss out on your opportunity. That's it. There's nothing that you can do. You can't go back in time and then offer him the same thing that that person did. The opportunity is gone. If it never came to your area of interest, the opportunity is gone. You don't do anything in between. You set and fucking forget, waiting for the trade to get to your area of interest. You set and fucking forget until you get your entry signal. And then when you enter the trade, you set and fucking forget your whole trade until it hits your take profit or hits your stop loss. Now, there's many advanced things that I do, which I'm going to teach you later. I'm just teaching you the foundation and the basics of this, one thing at a time. Now, if all of this makes sense, say yes. If it doesn't, say no. I love to see it. And you want to know what's crazy? The fact that this is a very important call and that this poll just got 100%. This is phenomenal. This keeps me going because it leads me to understand that you guys get it. So let's do it a little bit faster, right? Is this market bullish or is it bearish? Everybody, quick. Perfect. 100% say that it's bullish. Perfect. Off to a great start. So we understand that this is the higher high, and we understand that this is the higher low. If this is the higher high, and this is the higher low, what do we do now? We look for buys because this market's bullish. So we understand that right now we are at number one. We're at the higher high. We're not on the way to the area of interest, and we're definitely not at the area of interest. First of all, we haven't even found the area of interest. So we go find it. Higher high, higher low. We only look for buys inside here. Start working our way down. Is this a valid level of interest? Yes or no? Speak it. Just say it. No, right? Because it only has one motherfucking tap. Cool. We keep going down. Is this level a valid level of support and resistance? Is a valid key level? Speak it. Say it. No. 1, 2 taps. Is this a valid level of support or resistance? Yes or no? Speak it. Yes. We have 1. We have 2. We have 3. This is a valid area of interest, making this area of interest number 1. Cool. Keep it going. This valid area of interest, 1 point, no. Keep it going. This right here, valid area of interest, just for this example, we're going to fucking modify it because fuck it. We have 1, 2, and 3. Valid area of interest. And then we keep going down and nothing. Now, I know I might get this question, which is, can the higher low be a valid area of interest? And the answer is yes, because as long as we do not break under, we are bullish. So we can come here, create a double bottom, and then have a push to the upside. So if at the higher low, there's 3 touches, yes, this could be a valid area of interest. For example, like this and like this. Here we have 1, 2, and the higher low can count as a third one. If that makes sense, say yes. If not, say no. Perfect. Very simple because you already know all the other concepts. Perfect. 100% of you guys understand. Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, we have 3 areas of interest. Take off the zone. So we have area of interest number 1. Daily area of interest 1. Daily area of interest 2. And daily area of interest number 3. So at this very moment, what we do is we wait for the market to have a pullback to area of interest 1 to buy, area of interest 2 to buy, or area of interest 3 to buy. We don't put pending orders. We don't do limits. We don't do anything. We watch the market. So we have a potential buy here. We have a potential buy here. And we have a potential buy here. That's it. That's how you find your area of interest. My job. It's literally, it's very fucking easy. So what you do now is you wait for the pullback. So right now, when price is like this, we would not be at the higher high or the lower low. We are on the way to the area of interest. Now, when price gets to the area of interest, now we are at the area of interest, and now we look to execute the trade with our entry signal. If we don't get our point of execution, we then wait for it to get here. If we don't get an entry signal, then we get it here. And if we don't get an entry signal here, then it's just done. Or you cannot get an entry signal and the trade still do this. It happens. You can be in a bidding war to buy something. You could be in line and somebody beats you. It happens. You can be here and not get an entry signal and the trade flies. It is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. It's part of the game. Just because you have the strategy doesn't mean you're not going to miss trades or lose trades. I miss more trades than I win trades. Isn't that fucking crazy? Out of 10 trades, I'll miss 6 of them and only catch 3 or 4. It is what it is. But those 3 or 4 that I catch, you best believe that I'm going to make money on them. So when the market is at the area of interest, then you look to execute the trade with your entry signal. If you lose, you move on, you take the next trade. If you win, you move on, you take the next trade. Nothing changes on the outcome. Does this make sense? Yes or no? Did you kind of have like your aha moments that you're like, bro, what? Sick. These are the results. So 99% understand, which is phenomenal. Cool. Let's do one more example. But on the charts. Dun, dun, dun. Now, this is where things are getting hard, right? Wrong. This is where things are fucking getting easy. All right, cool. I have a question for you, my friend. I have a easy, very, 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 very easy question. Very, 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 very easy question for you, my friend. Sure. Is this market bullish or is it bearish? Okay. Oh, here the trolls come back. The fucking trolls. Yeah, motherfuckers, dude. Yeah, motherfuckers. All right, cool, cool, cool. This is indeed bearish. 98% of you have it correct. So we all understand and we would all agree that this would be the lower high. This would be the lower low. Cool. Now we look for the area of interest. The area of interest. Would we look for it up here or here? Which one? Neither. We only look for the area of interest inside of this box. And now, when you look for it on the daily or the weekly or the monthly or the 1 minute or the 30-second or the 1 second, each time, obviously, we don't use those time frames. We only use these time frames. Let me just clarify that before there's some confusion. We only go back a certain amount of time. And I'm going to explain that to you in tomorrow's call. I don't want to go too in depth into that because this will literally, like, I can go on for, I'm talking about like 3 more hours. And my tongue hurts from talking, bro. So we would have this lower low right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start having a pullback on this. Okay. So we start going back up and boom. Is this a potential valid area of interest? Yes or no? Guess I gotta scoot it a little bit more left. All right, these are the results. 31% say no, 69% say yes. The correct answer is yes. This could be a very much valid area of interest. If you notice right here, we have 1, we have 2, and we have 3. We could argue that that could be 3 as well because we don't do a line on the chart. We do a box, and I'm going to explain the box in literally 5 seconds, and it's going to fucking make sense in 2 seconds. Very easy. So 1, this would be daily. What is this? Yeah, daily. 1. We'll keep going up. Right here, we have our first structure point. 1. Scoot it a little bit more. Is a valid level of interest? Yes or no? We have here 1 and 2. Nope, it's not an area of interest. We keep coming up and boom, we hit this area here. What do we have? 1, 2. And I'm sure we can find the third. I mean, I'm kind of missing something to teach you guys, but for this example, let's just say no. So it's not a valid area of interest because we only have 1 and 2. This one candlestick won't count. Boom. Now we're here with this area. We have 1, 2, and since we're not exactly at the point, we're just going to say no, but it would, and I'm going to explain in a second why. We keep coming up. Boom. We're here with this area. We have kind of 1, 2, 3. Maybe we can count this as 1. And if we keep going up, let's say we mark this one off, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. So we would have multiple different areas of interest inside of this move where we are going to expect for price to have a pullback to then sell. Now, I know a lot of you guys may be asking, well, how do you know where to put the box? Because you said do a line. Well, I did the examples on the line, but it's not a line. It's actually a box. So price never goes into an area exactly to a point. So for example, if I were to put the box at the bottom of this candlestick right here, maybe notice it didn't hit that candlestick perfectly. And it kind of missed this one right here, but the wicks made it. So it's what we use the box for. The biggest the box could ever be is 60 pips. So if you notice, I have literally boxes everywhere because I use zones in the markets. I don't use one hardcore line. I use zones. So in this zone, now that we zoned it a little bit more, we get this. We get one tab, we get two tabs, we get 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now this zone just became a lot more powerful. Same thing if I were to do a little zone right around here. So if I start the bottom of the zone on these bodies and I keep it going this way, I can get these bodies as well here. So we have 1, 2, 3, and we can make it right here 4 and then 5. So we can have bodies at the top of the box and bodies at the bottom of the box, however it would fit. And if you notice, none of these boxes are bigger than 60 pips. This box is 15 pips. This box is 10 pips. The biggest you can have a box is 60 pips, this big. Now, do you want to have a box that big? Fuck no, because the bigger the box, the less respected it is. The smaller the box, the more respected it is, the more precise it's going to be. If you notice this box at the bottom, I have these bodies, and at the top, I have these bodies, and these bodies, and these bodies. So it's not a line, it's a specific box. If that makes sense, say yes. If not, say no. It's very simple, honestly. Okay. So 96% of you guys understand this. Now, the 4% that have questions, what questions do you have? Biggest can be 60 pips. How do you draw the box again? Go practice it. How do you determine how big the box is with the measuring tool? Should the wicks count? No, only the bodies for the box. Sixty for the box. Why do you only use the bodies? Because the bodies are the structure of the candlestick. Will you show examples live? I always show examples live. This is a live example. No, it has to be a minimum of 60 pips. How far back do you go for an area of interest? Explain that in just a second. First, I just want you guys to understand. How many areas of interest can you have? You can have as many as the market gives you. You can have 1, you can have 10, you can have as many as the market gives you. Okay. So I feel like all these questions are already things that I've answered. You guys just want me to repeat it. And sure, I'll repeat it. It's not an issue. We have our trusty Euro JPY right here. So, for example, let's say this wouldn't be like this or like this. When we're coming down with our area of interest box, right? That's why I started originally with a box, because we do boxes, we do zones, we don't do pricing. This right here, you can't really have anything close to this. This right here, there's nothing really close to it. But when you go down, this is very close to this, and so is this. So you can kind of grab both of them into a box. And if you notice this box, it's 17, 18 pips big. The max you ever want to make a box is 60 pips, 60, 60, 60, 60. So the bigger the box, the less respected it is. Because if you have a 60 pip box, the pullback can go anywhere inside of this box to then have the push. You don't want there to be so much free range for the market to go. You want it to get to a specific point, tap it perfectly, and then leave. That's how I get my sharp entries and my tight stop losses and my big risk to rewards. But if you have a big zone, you have to have a bigger stop loss, which lowers your risk to reward. The bigger the zone, the bigger the stop loss, the less risk to reward. The tighter the zone, the tighter the entry, the tighter the stop loss, the bigger the risk to reward. Big zone, small profit. Small zone, big profit. Very simple. So you want to have your zones touch as many structure points as you can. Same thing here. If this were to be a little bit off and you're coming down with the box that you were to have right here, you're coming down, you're coming down, you're coming down, you're coming down. Boom. You hit this right here. You have a 1, 2 perfectly, but you have this one just a little far that you can't count it on a line. Then here's where you would bring your box and you would grab it on your line. So you would grab it right here. You would grab it, and now you have 1, 2, and 3, making this the area of interest. And if you get your box again from here, and let's say here you have this spot right here, this one a little bit high, whatever, you have this piece of market structure a little bit high, you're coming down with your zone, you get the top of that candlestick, you get this one in the middle, and you get the bottom of this one. And all of that while being under 60 pips. You're at 18 pips. If all this makes sense, say yes. Or if it doesn't, say no. Which time frames do you put the area of interest in? So I believe here I did this already. So we only look to take trades on these time frames here. Give me a second. Let me make this fit perfectly. Boom, there. So we only look to take trades on areas where we can have an area of interest or identify the trend. And that is only going to be on the daily and the weekly or the 4-hour. So we only put areas of interest on the weekly and the daily and the 4-hour for potential swing or day trade. We put an area of interest on a day or scalp trade on a daily, the 4-hour, the 2-hour, the 1-hour. If this makes sense, say yes. If it doesn't, say no. Perfect. Literally everything else from here is a fucking walk in the park. Sick. All right, cool. So these are the results. Why does it keep going this way now? So 97% yes, 3% no. Cool. So it's like it only gets better, right? Like it's only making more and more sense. Now you can look at a market, for example, let's say like this one, for example, right? We know that this market is bullish, right? We know that this is the higher high. And we understand that the high low can either be this point or it be this point. Now, if you're confused, do the snake trick, comes back down. Does it just go straight to here, or does it reverse here and then make it to here? Well, I don't know. It needs two candlesticks. This kind of looks like two, so it's a little confusing. Let's get a line. Let's put it at the bottom of where the higher low could potentially be. And let's look left. If there's 3 taps, then it's a valid area. This doesn't really count. This doesn't really count because it broke above. And that doesn't really count because it broke above. And we're already out 2 years, so it's too far. So this is not a valid higher low. So we're not going to make this the higher low because it's a lot cleaner. So we do this as the higher high, we do this as the higher low, and we start working our way down. Obviously, we'll put this box a healthy length to the left, and we'll start working. We will make it up to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Clearly, there's no structure here, so there's no reason to even stop there. Boom, our first spot. Okay, we have 1 tap. We have this structure right there. Let's say if we were to make it a little zone like this, do we have a 3rd spot? 1, 2. Can we go left? Do we have another spot? Now we are already way too far. We're almost 4 years ago, and even then there's still no zone there. So this is not a valid area of interest. So we keep it going. We already tested this one out. That 1 candlestick is not an area of interest. We keep going. Oh, boom. We run into this area right here. We also have this little spot right here. So let's see if we can get a little zone going on here like this. We have 1 and 2. We look left. Do we have another one? Oh, shit, we do. We have 3. Now this is a valid area of interest. This is your daily area of interest, 1. And how many pips is this, just to be sure? This is 21 pips. That's a very valid area of interest. So what we're expecting for is for the market to pull back into here, give me an entry signal to then buy. There's nothing that I would do until it does not get here. I'll be very patient and wait for it to get here. If it does not make it here, I don't ever enter the trade. How long can this take? A week, 2, 3? Who knows? That's why I have so many different markets to pick from. So we just wait for the price to pull back into here, to then wait for the entry signal, to then buy. That's literally it. You see how you're not lost anymore when looking at the market. Now you know what you're waiting for. You can't buy something at the highest price. You have to wait for the discount. This is the perfect entry on the discount, and then you buy. It's literally it. That's how I spot the areas of interest very easily. Another example. Let's say sure, let's do this one. Let's do a different one. For example, this one. Cool. We're obviously bearish. You can tell that it's bearish now just by looking at it, because you can see the lower high and lower low structure. You can tell that this is the lower high, and you can very clearly tell that this is the lower low. There's no confusion that this is the lower high, because you know that 1 candlestick can't be the lower high. Now you start placing your zone. So we put a little zone, we go to the left a healthy amount, about a year or 2. Now I'll explain how much later. And we start working our way up. So market is already here. So it only makes sense to start from here. There's no point in putting an area of interest here because we already broke through that area of interest, even if there was an area of interest. So we only go up and boom. Okay, cool. I see some structure here, and I see some structure here, and I see some structure here, and some structure here. Wow, what a nice area. Let's do something so we can make everything fit. Scroll it down. We got these bodies. We got these bodies. Let's bring the box down. So now we also get these bodies up here. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. We want to be generous. We'll scoot it up and we'll get this one as well. 1, 2, 3, alone there, and 4. And fuck it. Scoot it over to the left and we'll get 5 right here. That's a valid area of interest. So we'll make this daily area of interest, number 1. So now you know exactly where this market is. This market is bearish. This market is at an area of interest. Now you look to enter a trade. So you're no longer lost on where the market is. You no longer don't know where the market is at this very moment. You know exactly where it is. It's bearish. It's at potentially creating a lower high. You got to wait for an entry signal. What is that entry signal? We'll talk about that later. But let's have another area of interest in place just in case if it were to break through this. You keep going, you keep going, you keep going. Boom. Okay. Have some support here. Not that clean. Keep going up. Cool. Keep pushing it up. Keep pushing it up. Okay. We got 1 structure point here. We got 2 right here. Oh, we got 3 not so far from right there. Well, let's bring this down a little bit so we can get those bodies. 1, 2, and 3. Well, that looks good to me. Daily area of interest 2. Keep it going. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Adjust it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is your daily area of interest 3. So this market has 3 different potential areas of interest. And just to be sure, let's measure. This is 13 pips, 15 pips, 5. So they're obviously under 60, which make it a valid area of interest. That's it. Now you just wait for price to pull back into here. Entry signal to sell, no entry signal. You wait for it here, sell. You wait for it here, sell. Now, which one do I like the best? That's for tomorrow's class. If all that has made sense, say yes. If it has not, say no. You guys see how shit starts picking out quick, huh? That sounded so bad into the mic. Jesus. But my ass was from sitting down in this chair all day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, this is your moment. Please, please, please make it about what we just talked about. We're not done yet, but please make it about what we just talked about. This is the best day so far. Yes. What if the higher low don't have 3 valid touches? Do you, dude, come on, man. Watch the recording. Bro, is this legal information? This is legal. Bro, I officially had my aha moment. Trust me, if this is it, you're not even ready. Do we delete the rest of the area of interest, which is not execute the trade at? Yeah, if you want to have your chart cleaner. Wasn't today supposed to be the morning class? Yes, but nobody had watched the recording, so we moved the class. Thank you. That was very clear. You're welcome. Amazing freaking class. You're welcome. You left it in suspense. Don't worry about it. Is this legal? You completely changed my vision on how the charts look. You're welcome. So a touch only counts as a structure. Watch the recording. This is the key recording to watch. Every recording is key to watch. Why are you against counter trend trading? Because it's not a high probability setup. I'm against trading setups that are with the trend. There's no reason to trade against the trend. But you do whatever the fuck you want. Okay, some more questions. How many areas of interest do you recommend per time frame? We'll get to that in just a second. But I don't recommend areas of interest. It's whatever the market gives you. If you go to the fucking ocean and the ocean only gives you 5 waves, that has nothing to do with me. I taught you how to surf a wave. If you get 5 waves from the ocean, that's what the ocean gave you. All right, I have to turn on the channel. I have a oof. It's kind of a little unfair because not everybody's here. I want to have a question. Would you guys want? Nah, it has to be. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. I've been doing this shit wrong the whole time. Yep. Today you made the box go as far back as a year with 3 touches. Over this week, you said you don't go farther than a month. Which one is it? Like I said, Jeremy, I'm gonna explain how far you gotta go back after you guys watch this recording. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be the end for today's class. A lot of these questions are in the recording. Please, 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 please watch this recording. Tomorrow, we're going to step it up a notch and take it to the next level. So, as like I told you guys, shit is picking up a notch. Quote of the day. Quote of the day. We've had a long class, right? Quote of the day. Quote of the day is valid. Valid. Quote of the day is valid. Isaac, Jesus, you spam a question that I'm not gonna answer, brother, because it's not has nothing to do with what we talked about today. Please upload the recording tonight. I promise you I am. Tomorrow's class. At what time is tomorrow's class, ladies and gentlemen? At some of you guys are just trolling. It's obviously at 4. Today was supposed to be at 7. We moved it to 4, and tomorrow I would be down for 7 tomorrow. I don't. Let me just do a poll. Saturday, right? Nobody wants to wake up at 7 in the morning on a Saturday. And I can't even ask the poll because it doesn't give people enough time to watch the recording. No. It's going to be the same issue that we had today. Watch the recording. So, guys, you have one piece of homework, and all it is to watch this fucking recording. Minimum once. Go to the key levels and practice it. And you know what? I have one more piece of homework for you guys. Your guys' homework is going to be the follows. Go to AUDCAD and find the areas of interest. Go to AUDCAD and find the areas of interest. That is going to be your homework. What about Sunday swings? We'll figure it out tomorrow. What time frame? The daily time frame. Find your area of interest. Do we turn it in on Instagram? No, just hold on to it. Hang tight. Keep it yourself accountable. Because I want you guys to go back when we go to tomorrow's class and see if you did it wrong or if you did it right. How far back do we look? However far back you think you should look. Make the mistake, and then tomorrow I'll fix your mistake. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being part of today's class. Today's class was very lengthy and it was very juicy. Put a fucking W in the chat if you guys like today's class. Literally, by Friday night, I knock out now, and that's it. I'll wake up tomorrow. But yeah, I'm fried right now. Thank you very much, guys, for being part of today. Extremely excited for tomorrow's class at 4 p.m. EST. Make sure to watch this recording. Do not miss out. Thank you for all the W's in the chat. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 4. Watch the recording a minimum of 1 time to minimize questions and so you're ready for tomorrow. See you guys then, and set and fucking forget.